Not yet, anyway.
Oh, gosh.
You want to sit on the end or?
Doesn't matter to me. Well, yeah, I like the easy escape route also.
Alright.
Yeah.
I just usually don't like
It's
the corner.
not,
I'm like,
we're being men here.
yeah, I like to run.
Like a rabbit dog. A corner here.
You want them?
Yeah. Thanks. Didn't mean much good without my gloves.
I just have to, I have to change my designation on the state.
Tomorrow?
Yep. Yeah, they'll let you open up because it's a finance account, so. If she had more personal stuff too.
Linda,
Wasn't sure.
is Ron taking over?
No,
Oh.
everybody better be very glad. We're putting him in the corner right over here. God.
He'd have a heart attack, wouldn't he?
Yes. Yes, he would.
Yep, you're right, you're right. Ooh, that is definitely.
Yes.
Turn on.
I think I will, huh?
It certainly won't hurt.
Nope.
Someone would call you.
It's off there.
Are we back here?
All my water's gone.
Yeah.
It's all the way back. All right.
There's a sign-in sheet here. Right here. This is a copy of our agenda.
Thank you.
Right.
Right.
An extra one of those, great.
Yes, we have one.
Thank you.
One for everybody. Well, not everybody, so everybody can get one.
Okay. Sounds good.
Mrs. Barker, I am so thrilled to see you.
Thanks.
And
Thank you, dude. You jumped up there, Ron. Oh, you gotta get the vote first.
I think we're the only two in town. I don't know. Yeah. You know,
Hey, Josh. Hey, Rich.
Kind of screw us around.
How are you there, Mr. Mayor?
Pretty good, how are you doing? How's your summer treating you?
It's going fast.
Yeah, it is.
Warm and fast.
Yeah, at least it's been cooling off a little.
Yeah, it's been nice.
I can take all that we can get.
sorry.
yes, it feels pretty darn good.
I promise I won't weigh in. Fan over here. I might growl a little bit. Don't cross me.
Oh, good grief. Man, this feels decent. I'm glad to cool down. Good grief. Yeah, those are the mosquitoes though.
Mr. and Mrs. Barker, will you please sign in?
Well, Chris.
Did you sign this? Okay.
I don't know what's going on. We cannot walk in the garden without netting over our heads in spring. We've got nothing. They just come out and big black clouds.
Yeah, you spelled his name very good.
Out in the pasture, you walk and 1,000 grasshoppers come out.
Yeah, the grasshoppers.
All different sizes.
Yeah, we got grasshoppers.
From the mini ones to big black ones. I'm trying to convince the chickens to go out there, but I think they're scared.
They're kind of nervous. There was an eagle out there circling
Oh,
the
yeah.
other day. They're a pretty good sized hawk, so I got to feel like I'm going forward.
Your agenda?
Yeah,
Big old retail.
we're gonna hang out.
But that one eagle,
It was a big boy.
Always.
Yeah.
So they
Always
went.
follows the agenda.
What's that?
Random
You
chicken.
always
Yeah.
follow
They never come out.
Yeah, stay close to the door. So, yeah,
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
pleased.
It's funny when the bald eagles fly over our goats run
I was
together.
with
They're
Thank
so
you.
like they must know that they're.
They know that they're human.
Yeah.
Maybe they're fearing the dinner
I
thing.
don't know that one that tried to take down a building, maybe.
I saw, could have probably done something like that. They certainly could have tried,
Yeah.
you know?
Rolling on it.
I do think so.
They seem
I had one of mine.
Arm wrestling.
Then just pass them around occasionally.
I know it's. I just looked at it.
Somebody said there was a fairly sized cat on the river again.
That's what I heard, and then, Harry, was on the fire department 2 nights ago, while 2:30 in the morning, he was heading to work for Stillwater, over by the police trailer. Across from the he said, a black bear crossed the road right in front of me, almost hit it, and he said, it was pretty good size.
I mean, it's,
It's a standard.
Yeah.
By itself.
So we told him,
It's a matter of whether.
when you go out to lock up animals or go out in the morning, wait until it's at least daylight.
forward it to
Take
you.
down.
Yeah.
scan it or something, I'll look at
Sure
it.
you're always aware of that. Big trees, you know, we had.
I have an extra.
A couple years ago, it took my land.
Yeah, give it.
Oh, you did?
A couple of years ago, yeah. And those big trees, you know, those cats in the trees. We had the most trees, you know, a couple of times, I got another old tree. So I can see what's up there.
Yeah, me too. But they were somewhere, they were hunting or something, all of a sudden I got this really eerie feeling, and then they got to talking to the farmer who's buying their hunt and said that there had been a cat in that area, and they were like, I wonder if I got an eerie feeling because the cat was in the trees.
Well, that happened to Nick. He
Yeah.
lives up on Pryor, and he had the same thing. He knows what a cat's from, because we were on the project, so it's
Yeah.
he says, I don't like those cats, I don't like those.
Just take the dog with you because it's gonna be the first warning.
Yeah. And it's safer to have something, right, you know, if it buys you 2 seconds, it's good.
Well, let's see, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, my dog went on the net. 6 or 7 or something. He was so mad he became a dog, and they was changing out of his work. It's like, here, quiet. And I would get to be with you, and I looked at some sort of shit, and look at the ground. In the driveway, the one that turned sideways. It was a grizzly cub, like a yearling that had gotten run on. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you did this.
Oh, yeah, I had the hump in the back. And he came across the road and came through right by our back door, went behind our garage, and I thought he was going behind the ground by the barn, so I told him, I said, grizzly bear going across your porch, my dad's like, yeah, whatever. We did, he came up between the garage and their house and went across their front porch. And so I called him back, quick, you just been across your front porch. This is not a girl. Well, then they did see him because he stopped on the porch because we had a horse at the time and the horse was having a fit and he was watching the horse. And then he went across the pasture and went down the river and swam across the river. And then like 3 or 4 days later, the porch saw him again and the body fell right down.
They tend to kind of hang
But I
around.
think he was one of the mama that run off, you know.
So he was kind of
on his
own little
Yeah.
room.
Wasn't quite sure where he was supposed to be. Don't keep him out of the briars or something, you know.
Years and years ago, I was
Times that you live in-
delivering newspapers and a wall of Beverly, I was lived at Alice, him and Alice. And so I get to the door, like opening the door, paper is there, and Alice and Wally, 2 little eyes coming at me. Did you see it? Did you see it? And I said, did you see what? It's 4 o'clock in the morning, it's dark out here. You know, I didn't say.
Hey, what's happening?
Walking around.
You have 20 bucks at home.
Yeah.
What's that?
$20 at home.
Oh, they're doing no good now.
I can bring up, I need
Hello,
to
Billy. Did you see
Oh,
it? Did you see it? Wally was all excited.
You really did.
Oh, yeah, I bet you would have been
see it.
able to see it.
Yeah. In the truck,
It was so before they had them up here on the town.
drive by tomorrow.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah,
the
how are you?
end.
Good, sir, how are you?
When they were walking in the track out there too,
Get some help.
So that that's kind of been around a long
I
time.
think so. They travel like a 3 or 4 mile radius.
I didn't know
Oh,
that.
okay.
The parking lot
cool.
of the post office.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, man.
That started a riot.
Yeah.
In daylight.
Yeah.
Cats running around.
Is that, that little house down there, is that one that they put together? That kid?
He's doing it all on his own.
Oh, he's cutting it there? Really?
Dovetailing his guts and everything.
Really?
His dad did that quite a bit up in Alaska.
Yeah, you can write that it's in there.
We found all the issues. But he says to us, and I asked him about it, he said, that's what they did.
Really?
Right, yeah.
But it's, he's got all the cars and
Really?
across the back porch.
So I mean, it's,
Across
I'd
the
say it's probably
road.
protected.
Here's a set of eyes, so I turned it on bright light, darn sure. As soon as the
Yeah.
light
But I mean,
hit.
there's no real state codes or statutes.
Yeah, I just see it as on the second wall, second tier.
That's a little bit too
Yeah, no,
close to
there's-
go for my comfort.
Holding
Wow.
it himself, him and his dad, and that's what they did for Alaska.
One end of
They
the
built all the logs themselves.
And someone's on the other side of the road, government house, right next to the corner there where you drive down the lagoon.
Yeah, the people that bought that place.
All the way around the whole property.
Oh,
And that's
No,
what we
she
also
did
have
see it,
electric
but she thought it was a
fencing
dog or
for the
something.
They can just run the whole property.
Dog or cat.
Okay.
That's when you go out there with a piece of sausage and go, here.
Yeah, that's on the.
Our dogs leave it.
That's on the agenda here.
That's-
That cat's on the agenda here.
Once we get it.
Yeah, it was.
Animal control.
Yeah.
And then we got kennels around all there, you know, around we've got horse
No,
kennels.
that's twice now. They saw the cat
Well,
today and yesterday morning, one of the firemen checked in that place, almost got a.
Get this moved. Pledge of
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Said you use my gavel every once in a while.
Well, we're all chatting bears and cats. Everybody can imagine.
Let's go.
Are we on there, Brenda?
We are.
Well, welcome everybody to our town council meeting. First order of the agenda is the call to order, which we did, and the pledge of allegiance. So the next thing is review and adopt the agenda. Any comments, questions, or changes to the agenda?
Get all of them.
I make a motion to accept the agenda as it is. Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the agenda as written. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay. So next item is we have public comment for those items not on the agenda. So that would be public, that would be out there. Lisa,
I was hoping that you could clarify the water rights for the ditches that run through from.
okay? I'll do my best. Hope are you very versed on that? You will correct me if I make a mistake. Well, there's the Bartlett Canal, which runs through town. And it's on, right, it's, no, it runs through town, the big ditch, that's the canal. They have the water rights to the town of Farmville. The people who have purchased shares in that ditch company are allowed to draw water out of that canal. So there's various gates and things to allow that to happen. So you have water rights and you have ditch rights. And water rights are owned by the Bartlett Canal, ditch rights are owned by the people that own shares. So technically, Fromberg has sort of, like for example, the one that goes down through town, I think various town folks on Main Street have digged out of it to water the trees and the plants, and no objection to that. There's never been a problem with that. That's kind of allowed by a privilege, it's not a right. We did have, there are occasions when people have blocked off the ditch in order to flood something that's in town, and that would be inappropriate, unless they own ditch rights. So I don't know if that answers that question. That's, for example, on a particular ditch that goes through town, there might be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people that own ditch rights down the road. And they have to coordinate with each other as to whether they can who needs water, whether they have a schedule for that. So technically, one other important thing is that the ditch rights go with property. So for example, we have an offer which is going to come up later on the barley field. The town owns that. So the entity of the town is more like a regular entity, like a person, in regards to the ownership of that lot. When it was donated to the town, that people that own that have ditch rights, and those were conveyed to the town. But if that property sells, the ditch rights would stay with that property. So that's the way I understand how it works. Well, Lily, you were kind of in the irrigation business, but did you deal with rights at all?
No, I just tell them how to apply it to the field.
How to make irrigation work. So.
Yeah, how to make it work once they got
They get the rights with the property as long as they pay.
Right, yeah.
their share.
Yeah, your share. For example, if you are going to buy a piece of property, one of the things you would want to check with is, does it have water? I shouldn't say water rights. Does it have ditch rights? The town of Frommer only has one water right, and that's the well down at the.
So the town doesn't own any water flowing through the center of town?
No.
For people to use?
No. The
We
town
have share.
The town has shares.
Right.
Like what you have.
But for the public to use?
Well, if they have shares, yeah.
No, I mean, if
No.
okay.
The town's ditch rights belong to, they can use the water to water the
Their
ball
property.
field and the barley field. Yeah. I'm not saying that people over the past haven't been asked if they can pull a little water.
Right.
People on that with those ditch rights, technically you're not supposed to allow other people to take water, but they have done it in the past. And I think, and Jerry, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's like pipes running up through some of the other properties that you can turn on that people have ditch rights? Or
Yeah, I have a pipe up there.
and you have ditch rights, right?
Yeah,
That you
3
keep
shares.
current, yeah.
Right.
So there are people who aren't necessarily on the ditch that can access water, because they did bury some pipes.
Right, way back
You
when.
can turn valves on.
Okay.
But if you don't have a share in the ditch, you could call the ditch company and ask if there's any available. You could try to get some. And I couldn't tell you whether there are or not. I think Joe Yedlick, Marilyn Stevens, is she still around? Or is it, no, Billy Wheaton is the secretary now, I think, of Bartlett now. So they would be who you'd contact to ask about availability of
Somebody
ditch
might have
shares.
forfeited some
Yeah.
shares.
You can't sell your shares to somebody else, other than transferring them on property transfers. And then the other water rights in town would be people that own a well that have got water rights to that. I mean, they can have their own water rights. Hope that kind of.
I have a couple of questions. I'm not sure why this sudden interest in water rights has come about, other than a certain property was listed for sale online, and then all of a sudden all this water rights thing came up. It has not been an issue for years and years and years. Mike leases the barley field, and yet he waters it with city water. Does he pay water rights on that ditch water that he waters his barley field with? There are several people up and down, and I'm sure that a lot of people know who they are, that use ditch water that do not pay shares for water rights. Now, this is a problem that is all of a sudden at the forefront because one certain property went online and advertised their home for sale online and advertised that they did use water from the ditch to water their gardens and whatnot. And at this, a certain property at a certain time, why now? Why hasn't this come up before? And if you didn't know people were using water out of the ditch,
I never said that I didn't know that.
that
I just got
statement
But he
just
doesn't
now,
control it, the ditch company does.
it doesn't
Bartlett
make
Canal.
any difference.
Sure, he has no
I've
control.
been out
over
on Main with Marge, talking to Marge, and she's watering plants, and I've never ever given you trouble about watering plants.
But it does concern him. He is the mayor, and he should know what goes on in this town, because that speaks to some kind of inadequacy in his stewardship of this town, if he doesn't know what's going on. These people were told 2 years ago that they could use water from the ditch. And that
By
was,
whom?
yes, it
By
was,
who?
by
By
Mike.
me.
Well, Mike,
And if Mike knew it, you knew it. So why
I
this
had
sudden
no idea
interest
whether
in
they were
water
using
rights?
water on
Just
that
because
ditch.
Mike knew it.
Mike's
Mike
leaving.
Mike
use
told,
the
I
water.
followed up on that, don't laugh at that because it's true. I
Mike's-
followed up
oh,
on it
excuse me, sir.
personally, and I asked Mike about the water rights. Were they allowed, did I not, Mike?
You did,
I came
and
down
I
and
told
talked
you,
to you
we have the
personally.
water rights that we used over the barley field and just come down here.
And that was part of the lease agreement.
And everybody
Yes.
has,
Use that
He
water.
told me that the town owns the water.
Well, that's
That's
exactly.
well,
exactly
that
what
might
he
have been
said.
wrong. We did, okay, but we own the water coming, the
And
shares
you
coming
told,
to it,
you told these people
that they
3
could
times
use a
that they
ditch.
could use the ditch.
I
water.
did.
Now,
And
I
nobody's
said-
telling them they can't
I
now.
said as long
As
as
a
there's,
courtesy, they can.
I said as
As a
long as it's,
privilege.
that's not hurting anybody downstream and we've got
but
water,
my,
I don't
my
have a
question
problem
is,
with it.
why now and why that
No, why
particular?
not?
Because there's so many people that are confused in this town
Right.
about water rights that don't know,
Nobody-
like you, that
nobody-
don't know about water rights.
And-
I know
Because you
that.
were
Hold on,
told a
hold on.
certain thing by
Everybody
somebody.
stop for a minute. I'm gonna call this to a quit here.
Because I have water rights, I have
Mark,
10 shares,
just a minute.
and I don't get water down at my house.
Just a minute, Mark. I'm gonna answer this question. I'd be gladly to give an answer to those concerns if somebody had ever asked me, but no, I didn't. I don't know who along here is pulling water that I don't ask them if they have
And
ditch
that's
rights or
my
anything
question,
because that's
is
not my
why the big
responsibility.
issue right
I
now?
can tell you what happened is people wanted to know if they buy a house. I'm presuming that this might have happened. Somebody maybe wants to look into buying a
they
house
should-
and they want to make sure they are getting what they are being told they can
Then
have.
they should come to the city and find out.
Well,
Not
We don't-
necessarily, the city isn't gonna know who has water rights and who don't.
you
And
know,
that's not up to the city to know that, that's up to the ditch company. And
And-
that gentleman that sold his, that's trying to sell his house, when he checked with the ditch company, he found out that the ditch, the shares that
Yeah,
was
they
in that
wanted-
place were backlogged. In order
And
to
they
do it, it
were,
was gonna
they
cost
were
him
with the
several
previous
$1,000.
owner also.
And on there, that hadn't been paid up. If he wanted to pay him up, he could do it. He asked me about it, and I says, as long as it's, I don't care. We're running the water down there, you wanna put a little pump in there to water a garden or whatever like that, I don't care.
but that doesn't mean they
It
have a
didn't mean it
right
was
to.
right, it
It's a
doesn't mean they had the right, I just said it didn't, it was a,
Well,
whatever.
my point is
So there's
that
some confusion, just a minute, there's some confusion in maybe that, but it's the first time that's, I've been on the council for 14 years in this table, and I don't recall that being a big problem or a question, but it's a question now.
exactly.
So it's been
And
answered.
that is my question.
It's been answered, and I think we're gonna move on because you can argue all day about water. Now, if you wanted to research it at the state, the DNRC, have at it. But the bottom line is that people have been allowed to use water, but it's, obviously not everybody in town has that privilege apparently, because they don't live on the ditch or they live uphill from the ditch.
Right.
So the water that is under the ditch rights of the town do not belong to everybody. So it isn't like anybody can water out of those ditches. If you want permission to get water, perhaps from now on we shouldn't allow any of it. But I don't have a problem on my ditch letting the town use it to water trees and stuff. And the people that have the ditch rights on that ditch can decide whether they want to let somebody use it or not. That's up to them. It's not a town issue to decide.
Well, evidently it is now.
So, but I appreciate the question and feel free to research this issue. I'm not a water lawyer, but it is an issue that it goes back, the water rights to the ditch, Bartlett Canal, and the ditch rights to the canal probably are at least as old, if not older, than the town itself. So, there's water law. It's not something that the town or Hope probably is versed in, because it's very complicated.
So the people on the other ditch, if they want water, they've got to go
To the ditch company.
to the ditch company and see
See
if
if
If they have rights,
if they have a right to get
if
water.
they're backlogged, they pay back to get them current, or they don't know.
And see, and that's the problem, is that most of the people that buy homes that have access to the ditch, the taxes or the shares, the payment for the shares haven't been paid for years.
They're in arrears.
And then they want the new owners to,
But
and
that's
that
why
should be
you,
taken
that's why
care
when
of
you
by
buy
the
a home,
title
you pay a
company.
title company, because
That's
the title
exactly
company is
right.
supposed to do that research
Or you
and
have-
let the person who's looking
Exactly.
at
Can I
it
intercede for one
know.
moment?
Yeah, hold on.
Everybody that historically has water rights, has a well or a ditch rights, received a letter recently,
I was just
so
gonna
it's
say
none of
that.
our business.
Right.
So if they received a letter from DNRC,
You're supposed to register
then
it
you
through
re-register.
them.
It has nothing to do with the town, so it's due with DNRC.
Yeah.
Everybody that historically has a well or ditch rights received a letter,
Yeah,
so that's it.
yeah, they did.
The only other point I wanna make is, the title company may not research that, but a
Title companies
but a
absolutely do not.
realtor.
No, title companies.
But a
don't.
realtor should, and then
Should, yeah.
your realtor you should say, check to see if that has ditch rights.
Title companies will sign the
Because-
paperwork with you when you
Right.
close, but they do not do the research on.
Because
on
when
what-
we bought our
ours,
place,
yeah.
we knew there was a well there. The title company didn't say anything, but we made sure that we received the water rights from the owner
Right,
for that well.
right.
But it had nothing to do with the title company.
Exactly.
So, if you're a smart buyer, you will ask the realtor to check into water rights, and if they are in arrears, they will deduct that from the purchase price from the seller.
Or you negotiate.
Just
it.
like, yeah, or you
You
can
would
negotiate, but you
negotiate
can
it with
usually
the
say
seller.
that's not our problem, that's the seller has to take that out of their shit, their cut. So there's lots of things to discuss there. Anything else from the public on, items not on the agenda? And I don't mean to cut things short, but, you know, that's a topic that just came up, so we could certainly research more on it. Yeah, Josh.
For those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Josh Jeffler. I'm with the Midwest Assistance Program. You might have got some mail from me a while back, but we did an income survey here to qualify Bromberg for a grant, a CDBG grant, that's Community Development Block Grant. Bromberg received the grant of $450,000 towards your new lagoon project over there. The lagoons have been under administrative order, I believe, or leaking and that kind of stuff. So, thus the project was needed and is funded. So that's kind of where it leads me into. I know that it's. I think it's been discussed at previous meetings, possibly the new operator that's hired maybe cutting back to a part-time position, I believe, and maybe even within the office itself. With our experience, I'd probably strongly recommend against that. These guys are going to be extremely busy when we start the construction phase here in Fromberg. Mike's going to be extremely busy, and any help that he's got, they're going to, monitoring the construction project, maybe dewatering some lagoon systems. So, and also the office is going to be very busy as they deal with contractors, engineers, making sure the bills are paid and everything, and kind of doling out that you get the grants that the town received, were awarded, and I guess I'd like to commend the town and the mayor for going after those grants. A lot of folks don't. They think there's too much red tape and paperwork. Well, Fromberg's proved and point that it was well worth the time to go through it as you got the grant. And so I guess speaking on behalf of the technical assistance we provide at Fromberg, I would just recommend that we kind of make that a full-time position as a new operator. You may pay them or have them to be certified through the state. For those of you who don't know, you have to be certified to run a public water system, water and wastewater. So if the town were to invest money into your new employee, get them certified and to the proper level, and then they find a better opportunity, or they're not getting a full-time job, so they decide to leave town to seek a different opportunity, and you just lost the time and money you invested in the new operator. So I guess that kind of sums up what I'm here today for. Is lots of stuff coming. They're good things for the town of Fromberg, is getting the upgraded, much needed upgrade, and gonna last well in the future. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Items not on the agenda.
I got one. I was wondering, you heard from Angela Science?
I've
MMI?
several times I've talked to her.
Okay, have you done anything as far as a third-party investigator?
A third-party investigator regarding,
Complaints that have come into the city for city employees?
no, I have not received any formal complaints. I've had verbal mention of things, and so what I do in that case is I investigate the situation with the employee, wherever that might be. And if there's ever a formal written complaint drawn up, then we would send that off to be reviewed by an independent person.
So you're not going to get a third party?
In regards to a particular complaint, or?
Well, to the complaints, any of the written complaints that have come in over the past year, 2 years?
Well, when I say complaints, written complaints, I mean formally a complaint file form filled out and presented to the town. Voicing in a complaint in a letter or standing up and voicing a complaint is everybody's right to do that. I have not, in my opinion, come across anything that would merit having independent person investigate, because I haven't seen a complaint nor heard a complaint that would, I mean, you know, the stuff I've heard is relatively minor. I've heard a lot of innuendo from people who say that they know somebody who did this or wants that or does that, but that doesn't, you can't go on that, can't rely on that.
Okay.
So that's what I have done, and I talk about every complaint with the person involved, the employee involved, and I will sit down and talk about what happened, the facts, and I generally, not always, but I generally respond to those people who complain however they ask me to respond. If they want me to send them a letter or call them on the phone, sit down with them, I've done that. And if there was something that was very serious or ongoing, I would, any complaint or credible complaint that's filled out, or if I was to get notified from Hope or somebody that she's received one, we would certainly check into it and go through the process of investigating that and clarifying things out.
So the complaints that have come into the town from citizens, they're not actual complaints?
Well, sure, we had 2 special meetings to discuss it. Did you find anything in those 2 special meetings that merited any kind of discipline or any kind of further investigation?
The law, as far as I know, was not broken.
Yeah. I mean, there's people that aren't happy with whatever, all the employees, some reason.
Yeah.
When you're, you know, here's the structure.
There's other employees in town too, and here we've got complaints against other employees.
Well, here's the structure of the town government.
Okay.
Civics 101. The mayor evaluates employees. The public doesn't. The council doesn't. The mayor does. The mayor leads out discipline. The mayor investigates complaints. The mayor answers complaints. If and when I felt there was a complaint that needed further investigating and a third party or somebody uninterested without any interest in the town or whatever, that would be something to accomplish. We would either pass that off to someone else. That just hasn't happened. I mean,